With questions, Callie.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kelly Crum, Content Specialist for Maryland Realtors, and I want to welcome you all to our Meet the President webinar. Today, we are so excited to introduce our 2026 President, Denise Lewis. Our CEO, Chuck Caskey, will delve into questions, and together you will learn about our president's background, how she started in the industry, and her initiatives for the year. We do encourage your questions and we look forward to answering them. Please post them in the Q&A box below at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We will answer your questions at the conclusion of our webinar. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Chuck. Chuck, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Kelly. Um, Denise and I have known each other. I've been here 20 years, almost 21 years, and we've known each other, I think, every one of those. And so it's really a pleasure to finally serve with you in this important role. I've always found you to be, of course, smart, engaged. I know you're an entrepreneur, but I also know that you have a deep commitment to service. And I've always respected that. I've called on you on a number of occasions, and you've never said no. And so it's just so exciting to be able to go through this year with you. I always like to start with the origin story. That's always I think an interesting place to start. Many of our members, as you know, didn't start in real estate. So now we have some second generation, like your son, for example. And so tell us a little bit about how you came to be at this place in real estate, especially.
So I bought my first house when I was 21. And that in itself was quite an endeavor. I worked for an advertising agency, and I loved what I did. I touched pretty much every part of that company. And when I bought my house when I was 21, my real estate agent, and she actually reached out to me recently in a post on Facebook, Addie Watson. She sold me my first house, and she told me then when I was 21, she goes, "You would be really good at this. You would be a really good real estate agent." And then when I moved to Carroll County, many, many years later, my son was in school with a young man, and his mom was a real estate agent. And I met her, we hit it off, great personality, Kelly Colber, hi. And she said, "You would be a really good real estate agent." And so I love houses. I was actually doing contracts in my previous life, in my previous job. So it all came together. And ironically enough, I took the class with thinking I'm just gonna do this part-time and see how it goes, and ended up getting let go from my job. And yeah, it was a
Okay.
blessing, a
Good.
blessing in disguise.
Huh.
So I was able to jump in, and thankfully my husband had really good job, really good insurance, and it was able to give me the foundation to jump in the deep end and hit the ground running. So that's
Yeah.
how it started.
That's a pretty common story, actually, isn't it? So then you found out you loved it.
Hmm.
You were pretty successful as an agent. What I think is incredibly powerful is a story where people like you end up saying, working with a broker, I can do this. That leap. Explain the thinking, and I can't even imagine the anxiety of starting your own brokerage. So you have a brokerage with 10 agents now,
Mhm.
and independent, small independent broker. I mean, thinking about without a life raft, like what was that like? I think it's an inspiring story. So to explain what that was like, what led to that decision, and I know you don't have regrets about it, but would
I
you do
don't.
anything different?
Uh,
Like, so what was that process like? I find it fascinating.
so you say inspiring, I say crazy.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, there's that.
so I loved my brokerage where I was. Loved it, loved it. I always say I was born and raised there. But through the years, you can see things happening. You can and you develop, you know, your business outside of that. And I think that's one thing that people don't realize is that your business is who you know, who knows you, loves you, trusts you. And so there were some things that were happening, and I thought, I think I might want to go out on my own. And my husband, biggest supporter, he said, "You love to teach and you love this business. And so I think you would be really good at owning your own brokerage." But there are a lot of risks.
Yeah,
A lot of
sure.
risks. Which is why I love Maryland Realtors for the things that they provide to our small brokerages. So I did it. I did it, and it's been 2017. I opened Brook Owen Real Estate. I named it after my youngest child and my oldest grandchild, so it's sort of a legacy thing. And none of the other children or grandchildren are angry or resentful about that, so that's a good thing. But I still wake up 20 some years later in this business and think to myself, I actually get to do what I love. I actually might pull this off. That's what I'm saying to myself. I actually might pull this off. So it and it's not something I take lightly. I know I think the biggest thing for me was having people under me that I'm now responsible for, and the decisions that they make are now my decisions. And so sometimes I think you know, that's a little scary, but we have measures in place to, you know, to offset that. So I have never regretted it. And we're 2017, we'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
So on top of all that,
2027.
2027, I think that's what you
27,
said.
yeah.
So on top of all that,
Mhm.
you decided to get involved in association matters because first at Carroll County, and now here, of course, at Maryland Realtors. We have so many brokers, big and small,
Uh-huh.
that are focused so much on their businesses, which I
They
understand,
should
trust
be.
me, as they should be, of
Mhm.
course.
Mhm.
And yet, we have people like yourself who are as busy, if not busier, and several others I could mention, but still find the time to get involved
Mhm.
in the Realtor Association world. So what message do you have? First of all, what made you decide? I mean, I know the answer to this, by the way, but
Do you want to answer it?
well, Janice, so I know why you got involved. And it's sort of like, hey, you'd be good at the same way you got involved in real estate, right?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
hey, you'd be good, Carroll County, you know, why don't you think about getting involved, get on a committee, on a board, whatever. What was that process like, and what benefits for people who are not involved? I mean, they're on the webinar, so
Mhm.
they might be
Here.
speaking to the choir here, but I think we need a message out there to brokers, big and small, independent and franchise or whatever corporate, the benefits of involvement. And on top of that, you don't have to give up work. It's not like you're going to give up business. It's not a quote unquote sacrifice. Can you expand on that a little bit?
I got involved from I got involved at the local committee level right away.
Okay.
I mean, I really did. I got involved right away. Uh, Getting to know people in the industry outside of a transaction, I think is imperative. People say to me, I actually have a child in the industry that says to me, "Why do you do so much? Why do you?" And I said, you know, people are like, "How do you do? How can you not do it?" That's the bigger question. How can you not do it? Um, it impacts you, your clients, the people that you work with every day. I can pick up the phone and call so many people that are way smarter than I am, that have way more knowledge than I do, that are able to help me in turn help my clients, help my business. So, but yes, Janice Kirkner. There are certain people
I didn't know that.
you do not make eye contact with in this industry.
Because they're
Uh,
going to put you to work.
so those are, she's the one that said you need to get involved at the state level. And she did that by inviting me and bringing me
Yep.
to an event that I would have never gone to. And I think that that's so imperative is having someone, we always say the tap on, I got your good
That's my
shoulder.
good, yeah,
Good
no,
shoulder.
this one don't.
The tap on the shoulder, and you still need to tap people. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But when you bring them and you go with them and you walk the journey with them, that's even more impactful. So she blame her. Well, that's why I'm sitting here pretty
Thank her, I
much.
think
Yeah.
is the better word for it.
So yeah, and I think getting involved, you create your atmosphere, you create your business, and I think that involvement has been a huge compliment to who I am today. So
And that dovetails with your theme for
Yeah.
which is what?
it is be one, do one, bring one.
And what do those mean to
Okay,
you?
so be one. Obviously, it is be the person in the room, be the person in the transaction, be the person that you want other people to be to you. So, and in this industry, we just get so beat up by so many things, that reflecting kindness, reflecting, just a smile. I always say, there's love languages, right? The five
Yeah,
love languages
yep,
of
yep.
everyone is, if we could identify not a love language of people that, in the industry, but how they like to communicate, or how they want to interact. Just getting to know somebody on that level can be the difference in a transaction, and how it might end up. So be that person. And then do one. Oh my goodness. Get involved. Get involved in your community. Get involved in your association. Be the person that in the forefront. You can make things happen. Get involved. So that's the do one. And then the bring one is just what I was saying.
Yeah.
Bring someone along. I challenge everyone, and I did this before, but especially now, I think registration's getting ready to close soon. But identify someone that maybe has never been to a conference and bring them with you. I always say to everybody, try it once. If you don't want to come, just try it once, appease me. And if it was the worst thing or you'll never do it again, that's fine. But at least you came and you tried it.
So you get in, you get your license, you get with a broker, you start on the path, you get involved at the local association, but then you ladder up. So how do you make the decision every step of the way that you want to take the next step? And of course, with the agency to say, this is all I can give, right? So what is the path to coming to, become state association president?
Well, for me, it was a roadblock and then an obstacle.
Yeah, there
and
were,
then,
yeah, there were
there
those.
but listen, don't let that deter you.
It could be discouraging. Yeah.
I truly believe that I'm supposed to be sitting on this couch next to Chuck Caskey right now. The times that I tried prior would not have been good, for whatever reason, but I'm supposed to be here right now. So the path to leadership, is it for me, it was a natural progression, and it took a long time. I was on Carroll County's board for 10 years straight, and went up their chairs. I'd never thought I would be sitting here. But I think sometimes we don't realize the impact and the voice that we have. And I'm not saying that mine is big or, better. I'm just saying that it's a natural progression. And I ended up here because I love what I do. I love this industry and I love the people in it. And so that's why I continued the journey. I could have, like I always say, take my marbles and went home,
Exactly.
but I
Yeah.
didn't, because I really care. And I truly believe this is my time.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people know that about you, Denise, but Denise ran for treasurer, and then secretary.
Mhm.
And I called her up and I just said, hey, look, I know it's discouraging. Are you open to additional opportunities?
Mhm.
And it worked out,
Mhm.
it worked out beautifully. So don't get discouraged. Don't think it also takes 15 years from beginning to
No, it
end either. It
doesn't.
doesn't
Doesn't
have
have
to
to.
take that long. So please don't, we're looking at other paradigms actually for people to get involved in leadership. So I think if you are thinking about it, Denise would be an outstanding resource to relate her journey and then also how you might want to, stage yours. What are your goals for the year?
So I am a true believer that we don't reinvent the wheel. So I'm actually, Cheryl started something called the Next Gen PAG last year, and we'll be developing that further. Chris Hill did something with financial literacy, and I'd like to see that come back. I do have, obviously, broker involvement, especially for small brokerages, is near and dear to my heart. So you will see something rolled out on that. We will also be doing the regional roundtables. And what I'd like to do is open up communication among the associations for what are you doing well, what are you doing right that could benefit everyone else, across the state. We have lots of associations, lots of people doing really cool things. But unless you're involved at this level, you don't really see them, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get that word out and toot those horns where we can.
Keep on the lookout because our plan is to have a big broker summit in 2026. Every year we have a webinar for brokers and managers that gets 200 or 300 people
Right.
attending. NAR's big push, as many of you may know, is to get brokers back involved. A lot of the big brokers, and I'm talking tens of thousands of agents, members, have questioned the value of Realtor membership, starting at NAR. NAR's, we know that there have been trials and tribulations, both at the staff level and then, of course, relating to the settlement. And NAR is working. I can tell you, and I'm not a blind rah person for NAR by any stretch of the imagination, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. And NAR has made it a very high priority to get brokers back in the fold, to offer them some resources to make them aware that their voice is important and it's going to be heard. And so NAR is putting on this roadshow kind of thing, and we've asked for input from them to help us put together a broker summit in 2026. We don't have a date yet or anything, but I can promise when it is announced, it's going to be big, hopefully in person, and it's going to be chock full of really important information that brokers can use. And on that path, along those same lines, what kind of other resources do you help that we can continue or build new ones or continue to provide for our brokers? The broker portal, for
A
example.
broker, and I don't even know if everyone is aware.
Well, that's why I
aware
brought
of
it
the
up,
bro-
yeah.
The broker portal. So obviously, you do what you do with inside your own brokerage, but to have the resource, even just office meeting resources.
Yeah.
There's a little place in there to, what is it called? Office
Meeting in a box.
Office meeting, yeah, meeting in a box where if you need content for office meetings, you go there and you grab it, and it's that easy. So we really would like to see an uptick in use in that. Yeah.
We have a lot of other resources planned for the broker portal as well. It's a little bare right now. There's good information there and resources, but just wanted everybody to know that over the next 6 months or so, there will be every month a new meeting in a box and based on what's happening. So, September, it's the new forms. Instead of you having to collect the forms and train yourself on them as a broker or manager, and here's as of October 1st, here are the new laws taking effect, here are the new forms that take effect. We will provide all that for you with collateral, with slides, So you don't have to put it together on your own. We're going to start to provide all of that information. All you have to do is click on the portal, click on September, and there will be your sales meeting. if you
One-stop
choose.
shopping
Yeah,
in one place.
that's what we have.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other information. There'll be a broker newsletter coming as part of the portal as well. Things that brokers and managers can see. Kelly, I see we have a couple of things in the chat. I don't know if they want to take those now or
That was me. I put it in the chat.
White. Those are your chat. Okay, good.
Yes.
So again, anytime if you have chat or Q&A, Kelly's watching and she'll break in as necessary. So
I wanted to say something about the
yes,
broker
please.
portal,
Of
though.
course, yeah.
So these aren't things that staff and Chuck and leadership are doing blindly. We actually had a focus group. We had a broker focus group. So we are listening and we are taking what you need to heart. And that's actually how the broker portal happened.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how to frame this exactly. I mean, looking back on the year, I know it's a scary, well, I look back on gosh, I can go back to COVID if you want. I mean, and challenges and rising to the occasion. And I think we did.
Oh.
I think crises can ultimately bring out the best in us if we are focused and we have the tools and we have the right people in place. And I look back at our response to COVID, as horrible as it was. We lost 1 million souls just in the US or so. But yet we were so focused and we accomplished so much in a short amount of time and kept our members working and engaged.
Yeah.
And then we had a little bit of a breather, and then the lawsuits and the settlement. And again, we pulled out all the stops. And so we're still working. Membership is down 4%, and we budgeted for 4%. And some of us thought that was not conservative enough. Some of our sister state associations budgeted for 10% decreases. I don't know if I don't know how regional this is or state by state. But we did, for the most part, weather it. We still have some challenges out there. How are we doing? What is your sense overall of the industry, the direction in the new world where, co-op versus seller concessions? We were ahead of the curve as usual with written brokerage agreements. And if you don't know this, many, if not most states in the country did not require written brokerage agreements.
There were only 11.
So
that
yeah,
had them,
I
right?
thought so, something
Right.
like that. So once again, and if you travel around the states or the country, and you will find that Maryland is far ahead of our sister states and in things like this. And so what advice, what you can say to people who are, let's say with the current people who have weathered the storm, they're still in the business. We know that a lot of our members don't necessarily aren't busy all the time. 60 some 70% have maybe one transaction a year. So we know it's a tough business and we know it's highly competitive. What do you say to people who are just kind of hanging on, but maybe wish they could do better? That was not on the list,
It
by the
was
way. I
not.
completely
It's a-
blindsided you by that one.
I'm going to say educate yourself.
Yeah.
In an opportunity where you have time, go to the office, whether it's your home office or I have to go to my office, so
Yeah, right.
I don't get anything done unless I'm there. So go to your office, get in your zone, get in the frame of mind, and educate yourself. I feel like everything we do is a moving target. Just when we've got it nailed down, just when we get it right. Let's look at our forms. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
look how many times they change. I have to constantly look at the bottom of forms and addendum to make sure that it is the most recently used form. So educate yourself. Biggest thing that you can do, educate, and then you're in a better position to advocate.
What about people coming into the business? How, like, personally, how many of your 10 agents, what is their average length of, well, take Janice out because she'll skew the average.
Right.
How about the median? what's the newest agent that you have, and how are you bringing them on board and kind of
Mhm.
indoctrinate, that's the wrong word, but
No, no,
you
no,
know,
no.
getting them into your own systems, plus how to deal in this landscape, because there are a lot of traps out there.
There are, there are. Uh, so my newest agent is 1.5 weeks in, and then I do have a lot of newer agents.
Okay, good. Okay.
So again, education.
Yeah.
Education is the biggest thing. Our office meetings, I try to keep them to an hour, but inevitably we'll end up sitting around the table talking for a couple hours. Because that's where the real conversations happen, right? They happen in dialogue, and real life situations. I would say, and I tell this to every agent, and my own children didn't believe me until they actually got into the business, is it at least a 4-year learning curve?
Mhm.
Give yourself cut yourself some slack. You're not going to know everything. You're not going to learn everything in that first year. And business people always get in it. They're because it's so easy to watch on social media and all of these grandiose shows that business comes so easily, and it doesn't. It can. I'm not. There are people that it can come easily if you already have all of your people, and but that I'd say. Come into it with the right expectations. It is a hard industry. But it is a wonderful industry, and it's so different. This is an animal unlike anything else. So while you're trying to maneuver that, then you're trying to learn, and then you're trying to build your business, and then everyone's trying to tell you use this, use that, do it this way. So find find what you're comfortable with. Get systems in place. Oh my goodness, get systems in place. And all of my agents will tell you to take notes on everything. They have to turn in transaction notes. So again, get systems in place, cut yourself a little bit of slack, and then hang around the people that are doing it and doing it right. And if they don't want to bring you, follow.
Mm, I like that.
That was a good one.
That was.
That's
Did you
good.
just think of it? Okay, well, we're gonna write that down.
We do have a
Um,
question in
Yeah,
the
I see that. I see that, Kelly. I'll take it if it.
Okay,
if that's
beautiful.
okay. Thank you, Mario. Um, what are the trends in global real estate market? I love this. This is wide open. We have a lot of work to do. Influence, opportunity, and challenges for realtors in Maryland. I have some thoughts on that, but go ahead.
I have no thoughts on that, so you take it.
Okay,
ahead.
I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity that is really untapped, and we do have a global business committee, and so if you're out there and you're on the global business committee, thank you. If you are not, but you are interested, next spring when committee applications open up again, feel free to apply for membership on the participation on the Global Business Committee. It was actually our spinoff, I should say, of the Commercial Alliance. And so there were a number of people in the commercial space that were also involved in the global business arena, not so much on the residential side, which is interesting because I think now that's really where the focus is turning to. And so we will continue to support our members in their desire, if they desire to increase their global business, we can help facilitate that. And I think, you know, our mission at Maryland Realtors is to help our members succeed.
Mhm.
Right? And so we look at every initiative through that lens. And if somebody comes to us and says, we would like to help our members develop strategies for them to expand their business globally, that is 100% within our mission.
Mhm.
And we're, in fact, working with the Global Committee last year, but even more so this year. I think we have a better focus on how we can do that, whether it's uh, helping with some logistic support. If some of our members want to visit foreign countries to get familiar with the real estate industry in that foreign country, and maybe bring that information back and that knowledge back And it's a two-way street. It's not just, hey, I have clients here in Maryland that want to buy a property in Belize or Costa Rica or
Costa Rica's
whatever.
a big one, yeah.
Costa Rica is big, but so's Belize. I met a realtor from Belize, and it's beautiful there too. But anyway, it can be anywhere. It can be the Far East. It can be Europe. It doesn't really matter. It can be Asia. And so if that is at all of interest to you, that is something we're going to be providing more support for, because there will always be the opportunities, but there are a lot of pitfalls. A lot of things can go wrong when and those of you who travel internationally, there's a great book, uh, shake, bow, or whatever, just
I know.
little things like how you greet somebody, just things like how different cultures approach business. When you go into a business meeting, in some cultures, you spend an hour socializing and getting to know each other. And in some cultures, you walk in and you get right down to business, right? And so there's so much to know to be successful. And we have a lot of very successful or members who are very successful in the international space. And there's an opportunity for us to help our members who are interested in that, again, to facilitate, to help and support them and help make them successful. So I think that's a great question, and it's something that I'm looking forward to, because I find it fascinating, the kind of stuff that is available. So there's one more question from James. Oh, hi, James. I know you. What do you see as some of the most important broker supervision challenges? Good question. Even in your market, and James used to, and probably does still teach this. And what advice would you give to brokers and office managers and team leaders? Thank you for including them. Mentoring new agents and also supervising and advising the most experienced agents. Wow, James, that'll take us the rest of the hour. Thank you for that. That's a beautiful question. Thank you.
I think that's one of the expectations of getting the brokers involved. I don't. This is an ongoing question, an ongoing issue, an ongoing concern, and not only that, it's a concern when I met with the presidents for this coming year. We had a couple meetings prior to this to taking office. That seemed to be engagement, professionalism, and education.
Exactly.
Those, I don't think we're ever going to make those concerns go away. I would love to put a dent in them. Yeah, the broker involvement and the broker portal should help with that. And any ideas that you have, please reach out. I know that we don't profess to know everything. So any good ideas that you have, we are open to hearing them.
Yeah, I think, first of all, Kelly, thank you. There is the international or brochure, the global business brochure. So please take a look at that and call us, email us with any questions. If you ask Scott Lederer, the current executive director of the Real Estate Commission, where are the pain points? Where from the regulatory perspective? Disclosures and supervision. And so when broker supervision got our attention all those years ago, and we worked with the Real Estate Commission, and we actually supported, much to the chagrin of some of our members, making the broker supervision course mandatory for brokers, managers, and team leaders. That was not done lightly, but it's hard as when I was in the legal department teaching this stuff every day. I can tell you that, if I'm being honest, a lot of the problems come down to failure of supervision, whether it's review of contracts, whether it's adequate training. And we don't want to step on brokers' toes. We don't want to do things that brokers are responsible for. But at the end of the day, if we see trends that involve things that are not happening, And I'll just give you one small example of where I felt like this particular company slash office had some work to do. I was asked by a friend of mine whose daughter was just getting ready to buy a house. And they signed a contract, and there was a confusion over whether it was as is or the seller was going to do repairs, and technically it was as is, but then the end seller ended up doing repairs. This probably sounds familiar to a lot of you. And then the question was, well, now does this open up the back and forth, or is this a one-shot deal? You know, I mean, it got very confusing. And I said, look, I'm a little confused as well. Just send me the contract. So let me look it over. It was done. They were under contract and they wanted to buy the house. So it wasn't like I said, well, I wish you would have sent me this 10 days ago, but that's okay. And so I get she sends me the document, and I go through the contract, and I get toward the back, and I get to the disclosure disclaimer form. And what do you think I saw?
You're going to tell us.
I am going to tell you, the listing agent let the seller both disclose and disclaim.
I knew you were going to say that.
And I went, holy, wow, emoji with the across my head. Are you kidding me? 2025, we're still allowing sellers to disclose and disclaim.
Can I ask you a question? Was it signed digitally?
No,
Okay, that's right.
no, these were wet signatures.
Okay, great. Even worse.
Even worse. And again, going back to James's original question, 100% of the time, and if you've been in any of my classes, you know I don't pull any punches. Whose fault is that? Right? It's the broker manager's fault. It's a lack of training. It's a lack of supervision. And we have to do better. I mean, the legal hotline, they get these calls weekly.
Yeah.
And they all come down to brokers and managers not knowing what their agents are actually doing, not getting trained properly. So what do we do? Where's our role? I guess the question, to broaden James's question a little bit, where do you see as our role? I mean, we can provide as much material as we can. We can't make anybody do better, though. But is it a messaging thing? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? That's a tough one, but important. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do, but I don't know that you want to hear them. No, I'm just kidding. I wish there was a better way to police our industry.
Well, yeah, that's a thing.
Without having to disclose who you, I mean, if it's that cut and dry, Chuck, why should
Yeah.
I have to disclose who I am to say, this is what's right in front of you? And it really, like I said, our industry in the beginning, we are a beast of our own.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a hard rub.
Yeah,
That's really hard, because there are those of us that do it right and make sure, I mean, obviously things happen, but there are those of us that take every opportunity and measure to make sure that things like that don't happen. And then people that aren't even looking and supervising. So it's a hard one to swallow.
Yeah, and going back to the original impetus for the making supervision a required class, the Real Estate Commission, all those years ago, 15 years ago now, they said, we are going to go after the brokers. If a complaint comes in and the commission does the investigation, whether or not the complainant added the broker or manager or team leader, the commission will. They're going to start. They're very serious about that. And we applaud that, because although, we don't agree 100% with the Real Estate Commission, and we certainly, advocacy of our members comes first. We're not throwing our members under the bus by any means, but we are saying that if it's a failure of supervision, then the brokers, managers, and team leaders need to be held accountable. And I'm kind of shocked that it hasn't happened already, where the commission said, I predicted this and I was wrong, that they were going to actually start making some, examples of people, high profile brokers, managers, whatever, team leaders, God knows, and say, that you're going to now be made an example of, right? Regulators do that all the time to send messages to industries, right? They pick out maybe an egregious violation, and then make sure everybody knows in that industry, that we are watching you, and if you cross this line, you'll be held accountable, and these are the consequences. The Real Estate Commission has not really done that. They really haven't made examples of brokers, managers, and team leaders yet. I suspect that's coming. And I don't know, and I don't have any inside information, but I really do think that that's something that's on the commission's
And
radar.
that may be the shift. We did get a win with the advertising, so.
So you talk about anonymous complaints, right?
Mhm.
And again, the commission didn't love that idea, but it hasn't created an avalanche of complaints that I'm aware of. I haven't talked to Scott about it recently, but they haven't called and said, oh, we really wish you would undo that.
Right.
Because we're drowning in anonymous advertising complaints. And that was a test case, frankly, because at the end of the day, though, advertising is more like we're ourselves, right? Policing ourselves,
Mhm.
because consumers don't necessarily know what's
Correct.
required to be in an ad.
Correct.
Consumers, I'd like to believe that if consumers care enough, if they really had a bad enough experience, they'd file the complaint. But as you all know, human nature is kind of like, well, I got through that. Now I'm just completely, I'm moving in, I'm moving out, I'm getting a new place, and we let it go.
Mhm.
It's like, I forget that pain if I'm not in it now. And maybe a lot of complaints could have been filed, maybe even should have been filed that never got filed. So do we go down the road of path of filing our own complaints? We always have the code of ethics process, and almost everything that's a violation of the Brokers Act is probably also a violation of the code of ethics. But that's asking a lot. I mean, let's think about that. I've been in places where I said, well, this person did this and this person did that, and I'm not working with you, and I'm not even showing you that house because I don't like the broker you work with. And what am I supposed to do? And I said, well, you file a complaint. And they said, we don't do that here, especially in some of our smaller boards. If everybody knows everybody, I'm not filing a complaint. I'm not, because I got to see you almost every day. And we don't file complaints against each other. And so we are a self-regulated industry, but in a lot of respects, we aren't. And consumers do, and then they don't complain. So these are tough roads and tough nuts to crack. Ideally, that wouldn't happen because we have adequate supervision and training on the part of our brokers, managers, and team leaders. So that's the path.
How many times have you talked to a real estate agent? You say, why did you get in the business? Because I had a horrible transaction. There's
That's
a whole lot.
common.
It
Yeah,
is very common.
that is
Had a
true.
horrible transaction and I'm going to fix the world.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And we're doing good. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
no, we
I
are.
don't. These are broad brush kind of things,
Yeah.
but the vast majority of transactions, number one, are way more complicated than they ever used to be.
Mhm.
There is no such thing as just a standard transaction anymore. Every single one of them has these little bumps in the road. When any other initiatives? I mean, just changing gears a little bit. I don't see any chat or questions. Anything else you have in mind? We talked about the next gen PAG report. That was basically to get the next generation of members to not only get involved, but to hopefully get into leadership.
Right.
What are you thinking maybe we can accomplish in that space?
So there were a lot of good nuggets that came out of that.
Yeah.
Number one was explain the path to leadership at
Yeah.
Maryland Realtors earlier.
Yeah.
Give us that information earlier. Don't make us go through the 10-year being on the local board.
Right.
And then the other thing was orientation.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. When you've got a captive audience in a room and we miss it every time. We miss it at the local level, and this isn't us talking. This was representative of across the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had one next gen person from each association.
Yeah.
It was, don't lose us while we're in that room.
Yeah.
And so you're going to see efforts from us as well. Again, we're not here to overstep bounds with the locals, but we're going to help you connect those things and make that experience in the room for those people a little more robust and energetic, I hope. Yeah.
What do you do for fun?
This. No, just kidding. Fun. Let's see. Love to travel. Love to travel. I have an awesome husband, 4 children and 9 grandchildren. So family time is very important to me. Like to include them in travel as well. Love to shop. I love high heels. What else do I like to do for fun? Love to laugh, and I play bingo every Tuesday or Thursday night.
Oh,
That's
I
where
didn't know
you'll find me.
that.
I love bingo.
Bingo, huh?
Love
Okay.
bingo.
Okay.
And my birthday's on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
So again, traveling with some girlfriends out of town to see a comedian. So yeah,
Oh,
my life is good and
There's
full.
so many good ones.
Oh, what's her name? She's got the new Netflix. Oh my goodness, now I can't remember her name. Somebody put in the chat her name. I can't remember.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
can't remember, but she's Southern. She's from Tennessee, and she just got a Netflix show.
Oh, Leanne?
Leanne.
Oh,
I'm
she's
going
so
to see
funny.
Leanne.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
Where? In the area?
She's in Philly.
Oh, in Philly.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's
yeah,
a whole thing.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, she's
So
hysterical.
I can say yummy, and you all know what I mean.
Yeah, she's very funny.
Yeah.
Actually, I skipped ahead. That was fun. But I think we need, and we talked about NAR. Let's talk about the three-way agreement a little bit. What does that mean to you, and what do the people on the call need to oh, thank you, Angela. Yes, Leanne Morgan. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did I get it before you or after you? But okay. The three-way agreement, what does that mean? I did an article, my column a couple months ago in the magazine about it. Especially given what we talked about earlier, the disengagement from NAR, people still don't want to pay dues, et cetera, et cetera. So what is the value of the
Oh, boy.
three-way agreement? First of all, let me just make sure we're on the same page. That's the deal we have with NAR, the state and local associations. That's the three of the ways. And we each have the things that we do, whether it's advocacy or, services we provide. NAR, there are a lot of benefits to NAR membership, say what you might. But what does that mean? What should our members take away about the value of the three-way agreement?
So for me, it's a compliment. Like there's the foundation, and then there's you build on that foundation, and I think that's, for me, that's what it is. I look at all the years that NAR was wonderful and great. Like we're gonna take this blip in time, and then that's going to be all we remember.
Yeah.
But and so we're shoving all of those wins out the window. And that's for us locally as well. I mean, I think it's a compliment. I don't know how we don't do it. So that's just my input. I respect where we are now. And again, we're here, and so I think the direction that we're moving in is wonderful. I think it's transparent. I think it's what we needed. And so again, I think it's a compliment. The local, us, national, we all complement one another. And again, I don't know how we do it any other way.
Yeah. And I think that well, I've heard this, that we are the envy of a lot of trade groups around the country, that the amount of engagement at all three levels sets us apart from whether it's bar associations or AMA, the medical association, even chambers of commerce, all of these people who have national trade associations, state level associations, and even local associations, like the Bar Association, for example. There's the ABA, the state bar, and most counties have their own county bar associations. Those are not even remotely as unified in a federation as we are. It's really unique in the entire economy of the United States. And I think it'd be a shame to throw that away. And it doesn't mean it's perfect. but I really do think that there's value at each level. We stay in our lanes and hopefully we, can come out on the other side, but we are the envy of a lot of other industries and professions. Thank you, Therese. Kiss, bow, and shake hands. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
It's on my bookshelf. I just couldn't remember the name of it. It's fascinating stuff, I think. But anyway, thanks. Where's your happy place? You kind of mentioned it.
Where's my happy place?
Yeah.
My family.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
my happy
that's what I
place.
was thinking.
That's my
Yeah,
happy- Pretty cool.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Final thought?
Final
Thoughts?
thought.
Thoughts?
Um,
Parting message?
yeah, I think I did have a couple things written down. Hold
Good.
on. We pretty much won this the whole time, but
We
let's
did.
see. Oh, don't underestimate what you bring to the table. I think I wouldn't be sitting here if I thought, oh, I have something to bring. I mean, I do, but that shouldn't be the only thought. And the other thing is, everyone keeps asking me, what are your initiatives? It doesn't have to be a wow.
Yeah.
You don't have to come in like a wrecking ball and make an impact, right?
Yeah.
It can be little subtle things. It can be continuing something someone else already did. So I like to tell people, I'm not a wow person. I'm an ooh and an ah. So let's just continue those things. I'm also open book, open door, honestly. I love this industry. I want to give back. I need to give back. And thank you for allowing me to do so in this capacity.
You had more on there.
I did, but you want to hear all of it?
No, maybe not all of it.
Hold
We've
on.
got like, let's go another 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
Almost everybody's still on, so we haven't lost them yet.
Think about what you do best and master that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that message.
That's that was the other let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you say you don't have time for something, replan.
Mm.
That's it.
Yeah, you have more time than you thought,
Mhm.
but avoid the conflict of commitment too. If you have trouble saying no, but then you find you're missing something, you're always
That's what
late,
I'm talking. Yeah.
you're stretched too thin.
Yeah.
And we encounter that here, you know what I mean? And sometimes I have to call people aside and say, look, it's okay to say no.
Mhm.
We'll miss you,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody will backfill this position. I'd rather somebody who is committed,
Mhm.
once you accept a commitment, please follow through. A lot of people have trouble saying no, but then they can't
Right.
follow through.
I'm
with
one of those
everything.
people.
I haven't seen that yet. I'll let you know.
But for me, that statement came out of doing something for me.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
so now I try to walk every day, even if it's at the office. I'll put my shoes on and take a
Okay,
walk, and
good.
that's it's much needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and then the last thing I have written, no lie, it says read the contracts and agreements.
Wow. You should have led with that. Yeah, that's a great message. Train.
Mhm.
Knowledge is power. And yeah,
Mhm.
I think those are great parting thoughts. I think we've cleared the decks. I see people have moved on. They have other things to do. So we want to honor your time. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Denise.
It's been great.
It has been.
Less
Yeah.
scary than I thought. Thank you.
Looking forward to the year.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.